Alright guys, we're back for another Dokkan battle video. So, STR Jiren, his EZA has just dropped. And we're gonna be up for fun time here. Let me just use UI Goku's here. Yeah, it'll just be a little bit more effective to sort of auto this. Now, I mean, we're at the point now where these stage 30 EZAs, I mean, they are very... what do we want to say? Antiquated? Like, these are not exactly... I mean, something that needs to be done kind of in, like, modern Dokkan times, right? Like, this is, as I've described several times, a relic of older Dokkan, right? Back then, it was a challenge, a journey just to get to stage 30, right? Like, every stage from stage 25 plus was a nightmare in some of those older EZAs. Well, I mean, mainly the first one. I do remember that the second one against Broly was significantly easier, because against Broly, of course, we were able to use hybrids, which was, you know, one of the better teams at the time. Now, I would hope that they would, you know, reconsider changing this, I guess, but at the same time, I know that there is a large portion of the player base that really enjoys challenging themselves with these EZAs, which does make a lot of sense, right? If not for link leveling, I probably would be out there grinding quite a bit more as well. Right, so that's certainly a thing. Now, Jiren is weak to Miraculous Awakening, which is not the strongest category ever. We have had some recent additions to it, right? You know, LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku. We, of course, have got the Sword of Hope Trunks. Sword of Hope Trunks, of course, is not going to be a major factor here, though, right? Because he, of course, is a physical character. I'd like to shy away from using Physical God Goku. I mean, he's probably good enough for this, but, you know, type disadvantage and all that. But Miraculous Awakening, I mean, we have some of the options we need, right? Like, EGL, LR Gohan, UI Goku and stuff like that. Like, I don't, like, we just sit here on auto. I can't, honestly, auto is probably going to work, you know, well into the hundreds, I would assume, for this Jiren EZA, right? Now, specifically, Jiren has additional damage reduction. Remember that TUR EZA events, they do have additional 80% damage reduction. It looks like Jiren has the 80% damage reduction against Extreme Physical, Extreme STR, Extreme Tech, and Super Tech. Those are all typings that Jiren has extra damage reduction against. I don't know what the relevance of Extreme STR and Extreme Physical... it just locks you out of using, like, STR Cell or Broly, really, right? Like, that's it. The strongest villain Miraculous Awakening character we could use is in LR Cell, and he's certainly on the table, right? The extra damage reduction Jiren does not have against him. Because there is essentially only two villains on Miraculous Awakening. You have, you know, Super Perfect Cell, and then you also have Dragon Ball Super Broly. Those are the only two Miraculous Awakening villains. Is that correct? I'm trying to think, like, yeah, I mean... Because it's like, you know, Vegeta, you know, I don't know, already knew he could do Great Ape. Frieza, like, already had his full power form in his back pocket. Cell, of course, you know, kind of does unlock that new level of power during the fight. And then Boo is kind of just like a mindless beast anyway. Could Rose Goku Black be on, like, not necessarily Rose, but Scythe Rose? I feel like Scythe Rose could be Miraculous Awakening. Funny enough, Rose Goku Black from the manga would be on Miraculous Awakening, because he actually does unlock Rose after fighting Vegeta, right? So that could work. I mean, if we'd ever get manga Rose, which I don't... I would say I don't anticipate manga Rose. That's sort of the way I would say that, right? I don't anticipate... we will be seeing a lot of manga characters showing up anytime soon. So yeah, a lot of, yeah, it's more of like the, you know, the Saiyans kind of like pushing their limits and developing new powers during the fights, more so than kind of like the villains doing that. But, you know, who knows? We could always see, you know, things happen with future Dragon Ball. I mean, literally today is New York Comic-Con, right? Where supposedly Dragon Ball Magic is what it's called, is going to be revealed as the next Dragon Ball anime. I mean, regardless of what like a new Dragon Ball anime would be structured like, or like what it would have or anything like that, certainly it would be just very positive for, you know, this game, Legends, Xenoverse, like just Dragon Ball in general. So we'll see. We will see, right? Exactly how things are going to look there. I am hoping it's true. I'm hoping Dragon Ball Magic is fire, and the thing, it's so funny. I see some people say like, okay, like we need Dragon Ball to cool it and no more transformations and no more forms. To me, that, like, if I've heard that, that's like the most boring bullshit ass. No, man. Dragon Ball as a series is carried by just transformations and just squaring up and fighting, right? Like, no, I want whatever's coming. I want 50 transformations for every character. I want shenanigans. I want the whole thing. That's Dragon Ball, baby. I will be seated and I will be ready when Super Saiyan 5 Goku shows up in the trailer, right? So we'll see how things are gonna go. I don't know if there's really much I could talk about in terms of Jiren in this video, because Jiren, I mean, to me seems like a stinker of an EZA. I mean, we'll see once we're actually using him, but it just doesn't seem like they really gave Jiren the tools, I would say, to be very effective, right? He gets 30% damage reduction against 2 or more enemies. The funny thing is, even if he had that damage reduction just baseline, I mean, is he gonna have enough defense where 30% damage reduction even matters? I don't think so. I see people talking. People do not understand how hard bosses hit right now. They've got no clue. Because like I saw a tweet of someone, it was 23rd World Tournament Goku with over 1 million defense, and the tweet was like, oh, don't even have to worry if he's guarding. It's like, well, actually, I mean, if Fusion Zamasu supers him over 1 million defense and he's not guarding, you get one shot. So, you know, again, the bosses hit very hard. No longer is it the days of, oh, they have guard, we're cooking. Oh, they've got damage reduction, we're cooking. It's got to be a combination of several things, and that's why, again, we go back to it. But guard and damage reduction do not hold a candle to dodge, because you need, you know, 700k defense plus 50% damage reduction, and then you reserve the right to take 350 from Fusion Zamasu, man. Like, it's crazy, right? Like, it's crazy. It's very difficult. Even, you know, I've been doing a lot of these showcases, man. I took Tech Carnival Goku in there, and like you remember Tech Carnival Goku gets the defensive buff when he gets hit for the turn. He got hit, then he got supered, and Tech Carnival Goku took 500 from Physical Fusion Zamasu Super, which is just like devastating. I mean, I suppose you could maybe make the argument that like Jiren, at many EZA TURs, like their role is usually not to kind of like go toe to toe with like the big boss super attacks. Like that's not really the clear defined role that many of these major EZA TURs are putting under, right? But even still, I mean, they gave Jiren nothing. I mean, you know, we can discuss it. Oh, perfect rotations, cool. Jiren doesn't even have a 200% leader skill. Like, that just seems so crazy. They dropped 17 and 18, and they don't even, like, you would think that they would give a 200% leader skill to Jiren, but they don't. So, I don't know. I mean, I feel Universal Survival Saga needs goddamn help. The tournament participants category needs help. Jiren being, like, a good character would have been much needed, but I don't think he's going to be very spectacular, unfortunately. I mean, EZAs are hit and miss, right? A lot of times I see people get, like, super mad at, like, bad EZAs, and it's like, man, like, I don't know if people, their investment, like, in the game, like, I'm not talking about, like, money-wise, but I'm just talking about, like their feelings on it. Like, it feels like people care. I mean, this is good, obviously, but people care way more now than they ever did like people care so much, dude. Like, I don't know. I wonder if it's in a, like, maybe the characters that are easing right now, like, these are when a lot of these players, you know, oh, like, you know, Int Goku Black was one of the first Dokkan Fests when I first started playing and shit like that, right? Like, I don't know. Like, these characters, it's always been like this. The game has always been like this, where sometimes characters are really good, sometimes they're not so good. And it's not a Dokkan-specific problem. It's every single game, every competitive thing. Another thing I do want to mention, too, I'm taking a look at Jiren's links. Yeah, that's... I'm going to tell you all this. I will not be using Full Power Jiren. We're not doing that. No. Full Power Jiren is not, like, a relevant character. Dispo, Hits, Hidden God Goku, no way. Like, these are all shit characters. AGL UI, I mean, he has 4 links with Jiren. We could run him, but, I mean, AGL UI is very iffy at this point, right? Like, I mean, I guess we could rock him, but it's not exactly clean, I would say that. So there we go. We got Jiren's EZA done. Again, very little difficulty. Pretty easy to get that done. I'll get this guy EZA'd, and we'll see. I'm going to tell you all this. Jiren, I don't really even see where I would be using this guy a lot. So I'm probably going to give him an offensive build. I'm not giving him my good equips. So, yeah. I mean, that should tell you what I think about him.